maybe financially, maybe you're a shoulder to cry on, maybe you're a ride to school. I don't know, but you pedophiles and predators kind of fit themselves in there somewhere, and they become attached to the child. The child shares with them, they share with the child, and they become friends or comfortable with the parents. And just so you know, single parents, children of single parent homes are more subject more to child abuse, just for the simple fact that they don't have that support. They don't have a mother and a father. They don't have a man in a home to stop that predator from even thinking about doing something that they shouldn't do. And that's just a fact. That's just a general fact, that's how they work, because they have more of an advantage to commit the crime. So with that being said, you see a pattern here where you're giving gifts and you're taking people on trips and you're buying cars and you're doing this and you're doing that. Well, who's really watching you, because you're doing all of these great things, but who's really watching you to really know what your end game is? And I know we don't want to put people in those categories, and we don't want to say those things about people, but the truth of the matter is, there are predators and there are pedophiles out here, and that's how they operate. And that's how they operate. It's been that way since data has started, to be collected. So you can go back, you can Google this general information about grooming and child sexual abuse, and you're going to see a model or certain behaviors that are general in terms of predators and pedophiles. And grooming are it's just a fact. It's one of the things that they do. Jared, the Subway guy, even said he didn't know he was being recorded, but of course they have a lot of recordings because the FBI was investigating him. One of the things he said was that he targets the young women who are of single parent homes. He buys them gifts. They can do simple things like buying them a little car, buying them McDonald's, buying them a Snicker bar, buying them a pizza. It could be anything. Buying them an outfit, taking them to a basketball game, taking them to Six Flags or some activity. Or I'm telling you, it could be small, little bitty things. It could just be, hey, you're my friend. You can cry on my shoulders. I'm here for you, buddy. I'm here for you, my guy. I'm here for you, sweetheart. Little bitty things that can build a relationship. Those are the center of what pedophiles and predators use to manipulate the child and to put themselves in a position where they can take advantage of the child. While, unbeknownst to all of the adults, this is what's going on. It makes the child feel like they asked for it or they welcomed it in some way. And then it becomes part of their responsibility to take some initiative to try to speak up against someone who they feel like they've actually given the okay. Are you following me? So it's a very fine line. And predators, of course, because more than likely they probably were victims themselves and they turn into predators. That's not always true, but a lot of cases it is. So they know the manipulation strategy and they know the psychology of it. And because they know the psychology of it, that's how they are able to continue to victimize people. Because first they pull you into their world, they make you feel like you asked for it, you wanted it, somehow you were a willing participant, which makes your voice null, a void, or you lose your voice because you feel like you gave them that power. That's how the victim feels, like they gave them that authority, like you said it was okay for them to touch you. No, they groomed you, they coerced you, they tricked you into becoming so comfortable with them that psychologically in your head you could not divide that fine line between what was appropriate and what was inappropriate. Parents, church folk, all of us need to learn more about child sexual abuse and preventing child sexual abuse. Please, you're not going to learn everything right here on this little video, but follow TBB Contact 3. Further along in a year, we'll be doing webinars. I already post videos. There are links. If you download my app, there are links to some of the most successful programs or advocate services out there, like Stop It Now, like RAIN. It's so many. So just download the app. You'll have access to links to all of these resources, okay? So I started tonight reading in the book of Jonah. And when I was reading in the book of Jonah, it spoke about how Jonah was so angry at the people that he was sent to deliver a message to so that he could deliver the people. And Jonah, in his frustration and in his anger, he decided, hey, look, these people are so ratchet. These people are so beneath me. These people are so foul. I don't even want them to be saved. I'm not going to take them the message because I know God's grace is so good, so perfect that he'll save them. Even though they molested children, even though they murdered people, even though, and I don't know what all they had did in Nineveh. But Jonah in his head said, these people are so God awful until I'm not even going to deliver the message so they can be delivered, saved, set free, however you want to say it. I find myself understanding that. But I also find myself understanding why it's so important that, number one, we be accountable as people of God and within the congregation, within the body of Christ. It's so important that we hold each other accountable. And then I find myself also crying out and wishing people who you need deliverance, you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing as a pastor, as a preacher, as a teacher, as an educator, as a coach, as a parent. You are doing things, or you have a desire to do things that are going to be detrimental to the psychological. They're going to have a psychological impact on the child. It's going to traumatize the child. So I find myself crying out and saying, please don't harbor all of those desires and play those things out and make people victims. I find myself wanting to help those so they won't hurt other people, because who knows what made, quote unquote, Bishop Eddie Long that way, if he was that way, allegedly. And I believe he was. I'm just being honest. So who knows what brought him to that place? But if he just would have repented and turned to God, that would have been something to behold. It would have been an eye-opener for everyone struggling, for everyone who was seeking deliverance, for everyone who had did something that they shouldn't have done. It would have been an eye-opener just to be honest and say, hey, I was this person. I did these things and I'm sorry. But that's not what he did. And so they report that he passed away from cancer. I'm not a physician. I don't know. All I know is that according to reports, there are some young men out there who have the rest of their lives to live with whatever pain, whatever harmful memories, whatever they had, whatever they went through that they didn't have to go through, but someone put them through, they have the rest of their lives to live with that. From this moment forward, I want us all to think about that. One of the sickest and most deplorable things I've ever heard in my life was when I became an adult. When I became an adult, other adults way older than me told me that when I was being victimized, that they had heard about it and that they knew they should have done something, but they didn't. I'm like, I'm an adult now. Your sorries, you might be trying to get a little blood off of your hand, but your sorry, I can't say that it fell on deaf ears, but why would you have knowledge of something terrible happening to someone and not say anything? You may have loved or been related to my family, but at that time, I was the victim. Someone should have thought about me. When I think about this whole situation, when I think about Donald Trump meeting with Steve Harvey and police brutality and just the death of our young men, the incarceration of our black young men, when I think about the poverty of minorities, when I think about the victims of Bishop Eddie Long, allegedly, I believe it happened. When I think about that, I want you to think about, are you thinking about the victims? Or are you so busy being an adult that you don't want to open your eyes to reality? Because you have your life and you're moving on just fine. But what about the victims? So think about that. This is Let's Talk. I'll see you the next time.